amazing job balancing paying homage to the Barbie license while criticizing the negative effects it has had on society.
Okay.
No, over to you.
Uh, Over to me. Okay. I think I'm going to go slightly more in depth and more cerebral than you have, and say I fucking loved it.
That's great.
I did. I fucking loved it.
No,
I thought it was smart. I thought it was. I mean, stayed away from spoilers anyway, and reviews. And I just thought that it just executed so well. It was entertaining. I didn't know what the plot was, other than it was about a Barbie doll that goes
ah,
to Barbie world. Goes from Barbie world to the. I'd seen the trailer, but it's funny when we first saw that first trailer. My wife turned to me and said, "Yeah, I don't want to go see that." And then by the time it came
hmm.
around, it's like, "Oh, we got to go see this," and we both had such a good time. So
Now,
I'm not go on.
yeah, continuing on that positive note, what impressed you most about Barbie?
The cast, the writing, the story itself, not
Yeah.
perfect. A little, I mean, for a 2 hour movie, it did drag a little. I think it could have
Oh,
had a
interesting.
just like a few minutes here and there could have been sort of like ab crunched up a little. But yeah, I love the cameos. Um, a lot of the beats were really really good. I think I think the weakest part of the movie, in fact, is was Will Ferrell.
Hmm.
I don't think Will Ferrell needed to be in it.
Well,
Is-
let's stick on the
No, I
positive.
mean that's just and that's the only criticism I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I really loved it, and we should talk about all the cameos. We should talk about all the Kens, all the Barbies. Absolutely, let's talk.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was so much good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like AM PM, but Barbie, there's so much good stuff.
Like as I mentioned, I was really impressed with how Greta Gerwig balanced everything, and it's not just the paying homage to Mattel while skewering what Mattel has done to society with Barbie, but also things how she managed small roles that could have gotten overbearing. I thought she gave us enough Will Ferrell. Sometimes his small roles can be too much and take away from the movie. I thought she did a great job with Michael Cera's character, Alan, who I thought he was hilarious. And there
Alan was
was
great.
just enough of him that it was fantastic. But I think too much of that could have spoiled the effectiveness of that character. So I'm a big fan of her as a writer and a director. As an actor, I'm still getting over Arthur. So, and I know she's done other stuff that she's been really, really good in, but Arthur still scarred me.
um, I get where you're coming from, and I can't disagree. I think, like I said, the story was very well put together. The way it kind of took you one direction, then flipped everything. Did not see it going that way, and it kind of worked. It was perhaps a little, not jarring, but to make so much of it about not Barbie. And are
Hmm.
we doing spoilers or not?
Yeah. Yeah, we
All
got
right, spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Or
it.
backwards. There you go. The fact that they made so much of it about Ken and
Hmm.
the men was that did surprise me a little, but it wasn't perhaps it wasn't a negative surprise. I thought it was actually just really pitch perfect in that it didn't go down the traditional route of a doll finds they have to go to the real world
Right,
and
right.
interact with the humans, and where's my fuzzy bits, and hilarity ensues, and we got all that, but we got it in like a 3 to 6 minute burst, and then on with the story, and then on with the story of women and the shit they go through, whether they're Barbie or not. And there's obviously a monologue in that movie that
Right.
we should discuss at some point, which was pretty fucking amazing. Um, So yeah, it was cinematic triumph, a triumph, if you will, a triumph.
Now you were talking about performances. There were lots of Barbies, lots of Kens, and Alan, a Midge. I think there were a couple of Skippers. Now, who stood out to you in this movie? Who did you enjoy?
All right, so there. Look, I'm going to just get one cameo out the way
Yeah, yeah,
because it means a lot to me. Because it's a legendary Welsh comedic actor named Rob Brydon who was in Gavin and Stacey,
right.
and he was Sugar Daddy, like Sugar the dog's daddy, and it was a Barbie that was like came out discontinued pretty quickly, but just to see this like excellent Welsh comic actor who's known predominantly for TV. He's done some stuff. He's done some movies with the guy who does Alan Partridge. I can't remember his name. It's like the trip to Greece, the trip to Spain, and they're funny movies.
Right.
But yeah, to see Rob Brydon because apparently Barbie herself is a fan of the show Gavin and Stacey, which is really, really bizarre. Margot Robbie is a fan of
Yeah.
the show. So anyway, I love that. But I loved. I mean, we had Simu Liu.
Yeah.
We had
Doctor Who.
We had the Next Doctor. We had Alan. We had, and again, I'm just looking at the Kens.
Right.
And then you look at the amazing actresses that we had as all the different Barbies.
Yeah. Who did you? When I saw Alexandra Shipp as one of the Barbies, I kept thinking of her playing Storm, and I'm like, is she going to summon lightning or something? Like
Lightning Barbie would be
Lightning
awesome.
Barbie. Yeah. Dua Lipa was a great Barbie.
I mean, obviously, Kate McKinnon steals.
Yeah.
She steals the show as Weird Barbie.
Yes.
Yes, Skipper. Skipper was definitely there. I don't know about Stacey and Chelsea. Sorry, I was looking at Mo's comment there. But yes, I thought that the cast was on the whole absolutely excellent. America Ferrera and whoever played her daughter. You know, I'm not very good with these names nowadays, but I thought she was fantastic. They both were. Yeah, I mean,
kind of weirded me out. I'm like, Ugly Betty's a mom now. Like she's playing mom roles.
I never watched Ugly Betty. That's the thing. I've never watched Ugly Betty or what was the other one that she did? Superstore, I think she's in. Or
she had a small role in Lords of Dogtown. I don't know if you watched that.
Never watched that
skateboarding
one.
movie.
So really, I think it's my first exposure to her, but I thought she was great.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I have very little to say that's negative about this, unlike the conservative right.
We are getting to those points too, but you did mention some of the pacing, some of the movements dragged for you. Where did the movie drag for you?
So we had that excellent montage of them of Barbie and Ken going from Barbie Land to the real world.
Right.
They're on the snowcat and the boat and the rocket ship and the bike, and I think it was great. And then we saw Barbie coming back on the same thing, but in reverse.
Right.
After seeing Ken do it. And then we saw the Will Ferrell character and his executives do it again. I didn't need to see that 4 times. That to me just felt a little bit too much, you know, ramming home the gag of, oh, look at these guys, they're doing this. Isn't that funny? Could have done without that. I mean, some of the stuff just felt telegraphed to me. When she got the memories and they replayed all the, you know, and she's like, oh, the memories were not meant. Well, you know, when Barbie saw these memories of somebody playing, you know, with the doll or whatever, she thought she was looking at the little girl, but it was the mom. And then we got to see everything replayed to say, hello, just in case you missed it, this is what we were getting at. And that to me just felt a little bit too much. I do love a movie that actually credits its audience with a little bit of intelligence. I know it's reaching, but I felt we didn't need that, and it was just it just didn't feel like a movie that needed to be 2 hours. You could have trimmed a couple of bits here and there, um, and that was just my thought. Coming out of it, I felt I was trying to think what else. I mean, the some of the Ken stuff was funny, but again, didn't need to be totally regurgitated.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know. It's one of those things that unfortunately I then went and fortunately I went to see Oppenheimer, and I've only got enough space in my head for so much, and some of the Barbie critiques got squeezed out. So those are the two things that come to mind. But like I said, it's nothing major. It's more
Right.
just some tweaks here and there. Um, but anyway, the biggest not necessarily the biggest disappointment. It's just the one thing that didn't feel right was Will Ferrell, which is funny in a movie where you've got all these amazing actors and actresses who are recognizable as Barbie and Ken, and you still see, oh, that's Will Ferrell, and perhaps that's me. I have this problem with him, but he seems to me he was playing the same fucking character that he played in the Lego movie, and while it was cute and funny in the Lego movie, did not need to be. It didn't need to be Will Ferrell again, and I mean, let's be honest. Will Ferrell is a fine comedian. He's just not a great comedic actor anymore. I mean, if you look at some of his shtick, I mean, he did Spirited last year with Ryan Reynolds, and he was pretty shitty in that. I'm sorry, Ebenezer Scrooge does not have an American accent. And you just look at Will Ferrell's shtick. I mean, you know, it's just getting a bit much, and it's probably just my own personal opinion. But I could have done without him in the movie. But
Yeah,
again, that's the biggest complaint I have.
I didn't have issues with the pacing or Will Ferrell, and I didn't think there was a lot of him in the movie to even bother anyone because I thought his role was pretty minimal.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
know. Just there could have been a better actor, a proper character actor you could have put in there to play oily CEO who thinks that he knows what women want. And from Will Ferrell, it feels like Will Ferrell. And don't get me wrong, I love Elf, one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Mhm.
I thought in Old School, Frank as Frank the Tank, superb in an ensemble. Stranger Than Fiction, a
Yeah, he's great
marvelously
in that.
understated performance, again in an absolutely banging ensemble. But to see him come back and, like I said, do this sort of like mirror image of his Lego movie character, um, yeah, it just felt a little. And like I said, that's the only major issue I had.
So my problem, and it's totally understandable why it didn't happen, but I wish they were more critical of the negative effects Barbie has had on women's perception of themselves and men's perception of what it means to be beautiful, because it has had negative effects on society. And I wish they went further with that. I totally understand why they didn't, because you can't piss off your licensor, but there was an opportunity there where they did get the message across, but I felt like the message could have been even stronger, especially for the Western audience. You said earlier that you didn't need the audience doesn't necessarily need to be shown things so overtly. Unfortunately, sometimes it does.
I
More out here. I mean, we're not big on subtlety out here.
I get where you're coming from. I think honestly that the monologue that's really is there's the monologue, and there's the piece where she's sitting with Rhea Perlman as the creator of Barbie, and then there's the scene where she's sitting on the park bench, and sits next to the older lady and just looks at her and says, "You're beautiful."
Oh, at the bus
She's never
stop.
seen at the
Yeah.
bus stop. Yeah, she's never seen an older woman.
Yeah.
It's all this level of perfection and not aging and stuff. Those three scenes were just so on point for me.
Yeah.
And again, I can't speak to the female experience.
Of course.
And I'm not going to sit here and criticize. I felt that monologue should be taken and played at every single elementary school, kindergarten, junior high, high school, comprehensive, whatever you want to call it. Every single it should be played on every radio station and channel every day to every girl and every woman to show exactly, that they have an impossible task, and
Right.
it's because of blokes, and the patriarchy, and look, there's people are now going to watch this going, oh, the patriarchy, this they hate men, blah blah blah. And it's like, you know what? As a
So
man myself, I fucking hate men at times. I really do, and I gotta say, it really does. It makes a difference that I think that if they put my cancer meds in the water supply and robbed men of their testosterone for 12 months, this planet would be in a much better state. Swear to Christ.
that is one way to handle it for sure. Our friend Caleb said they did do a lot to disparage Mattel, and he was surprised that they got away with so much. Yeah, they were. And yeah, I am surprised too. I still wish it was more because they deserve it. Absolutely do. I still get annoyed at my mom when she buys my niece a white Barbie because it just does not, it's not helpful.
Yeah, I mean, look, Barbie's not the savior here. Barbie is not the good guy in this in any way, shape, or form. And they take some licks, and there is, as you said, only so many licks you can deliver in a licensed
Yeah.
product. And Mattel doesn't come out of this smelling
Yeah.
of roses. So
Yeah.
I think, all told, I think I mean, could we have had more satire? Yes. Could we have had more cameos? Could we have a lot? We could. There's a lot of things that could have been in there, um, but I just think that what they did was very was very good of
For
what they
sure.
got in and got away with, and I know Mattel are probably saying, "Oh, aren't we good sports? Everybody love us." It's like, fuck you, you deserve every single kick, and yes, you do deserve a bunch of more kicks. But that's the beautiful thing about the media, is that they are coming out and giving Mattel the rest of the kicks. It's like,
Right.
Barbie did this, and oh, we can talk about this. I mean, there's only so much. I mean, it's like, oh, here's the Batman movie, and Batman's a absolute psycho vigilante. I mean, who needs to
Right.
be locked up? Um, they're not going to piss on their own French fries and say it's vinegar.
Sure. Sure. You had mentioned the bus stop scene. I was reading an interview with Greta Gerwig, and she said that to her that was the most important scene in the movie, and they actually wanted her to take it out, but she was very adamant about having that scene in and having that scene serve as the soul of the movie, because to her that was the essence of what of the story she was trying to tell with Barbie. And yeah, I loved that scene so much because it just,
It was a beautiful beat. It was a
yeah.
boom, and then you could see the light going off in Barbie's head, above
Yes.
Barbie's head, and the person, the other lady in that park bench scene at the bus stop, is actually a legendary costume designer
Costumer.
in
Yeah, yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's totally worked. I mean, I I didn't walk out of there feeling ashamed for being a man, but I walked out of there having enjoyed this and being reinforced that the shit that men do,
It's fucked
a
up
lot of men
sometimes.
need to get their
Yeah.
fucking heads out of their
Yeah,
assholes and stop, behaving in a certain way.
for sure.
We need to evolve.
And some of us are, some of us want to bring it back the other direction. It's kind of crazy. We will talk more about that in a little bit, but I do want to say, um, you had mentioned Shauna's reaction when she saw the first trailer, and a lot of people in the theater that I went to, a lot of our common friends on social media, were surprised at what Barbie was. They were expecting more of a standard straight up comedy instead
Yeah.
of a satire parody thing. That surprised me. I mean, from the director of Little Women and Lady Bird comes. I was never expecting a straight comedy. Maybe is Greta Gerwig not famous enough as a director? Where was the marketing leading people to believe that was a straight comedy?
I think it's more a case of people not willing to believe that something like this could be used as satire. That, again, the license
Hmm.
and Mattel would say it would allow it perhaps as much as they did. I mean, when Greta Gerwig was announced to do it, I was like, "What? What?" Um, and I say that as somebody who found Ladybird very, very boring. But then Ladybird was not meant for me, and
Right.
I fully accept that. And it's not my cup of tea at all. And let's face it, how many versions of Little Women have there been that I've probably already seen? I just didn't need to see another one. But she's no doubt a superb writer,
For sure.
and obviously an excellent director, because
Yeah.
the story that she put out there, it worked, ticked all the boxes. So yeah, and I'm so relieved that it was, not a fish out of water comedy.
Right.
Because
I
it
mean,
could have just been
I
cheese. It really could have been cheese.
I knew that Margot Robbie was doing a Barbie movie, but I was not interested in it until Greta Gerwig was attached, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this could be interesting. And lo and behold, it was, and I was very happy.
I was into it with regards to Margot Robbie, because yes, she's a striking woman. Let's not get that wrong, but she's also kind of fearless. I
Yeah.
don't think this is something an American actress could really have taken on. No offense
Hmm.
to American actresses, but you've got to have a different sort of mindset. And she is somebody who came from this Australian soap called Neighbours. And I mean, she was um, in a movie called About Time, which was a little time travel
Mhm.
British rom com. But obviously, she really broke out on Wolf of Wall Street, and everybody thought, oh, she's pretty low, oh, she's gorgeous, blah blah blah. She gets her kit off, isn't that fun? Great, she's going to be a sex bomb. But she's taken a bunch of roles. I mean, I Tonya,
I,
she was
Tanya was great.
excellent in.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this: she is one of the few shining stars of the DC cinematic universe
Yeah.
with regards to Harley Quinn. I don't think she was served well in the first Suicide Squad. I think the Harley Quinn movie was actually one that got better with repeat watchings, and I think she's excellent in that. And again, she's superb in the second Suicide Squad as this Harley Quinn character. She embodies it, she owns it. So much so that I'm just so not in the mood to watch Lady Gaga's impersonation of it or interpretation of it in Joker: A Pile of Shit Part 2. Simply because I just don't want to. I don't need to see that. We've got our Harley Quinn, and the only
Sure.
other Harley Quinn that rivals it is the Kaylee Cuoco one in the
Yeah.
animated series, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Excellent series if you have not watched.
It's a
Very, very clever, very smart.
fantastic series. But yeah, I knew that as she's producing it, she is not going to do a generic comedy. So before, so when she was attached, it's like, okay, this is now interesting. Yes, she's got the looks, but she can do the accent, the American accent, and she
Yes.
can, she's a great actress who doesn't perhaps get the kudos she deserves. And then when Greta Gerwig was attached, and Noah Baumbach, who's Greta Gerwig's partner, to write it, I was like, okay, this is going to be either really interesting or super. It's almost going to be like the Paul Thomas Anderson
Right.
version of, there's the SNL skit where they
Right.
have the Paul Thomas Anderson murder trailer, and it's like the coterie of the Midnight Intruders, and it's like, okay, this is going to be really, really weird, but turned out to be such a, so well written. So
For your
And
sake, I'm glad it wasn't the Wes Anderson one because I know that's not
that's
your
about the
favorite.
Wes Anderson, not Paul Thomas Anderson. There is
Okay,
a pastiche of a Wes Anderson. Shauna loves the Wes Anderson stuff. I
she
can't stand
does.
it.
I do too.
But there is a SNL parody with God, they got a bunch of actors anyway, and it's a parody trailer of the Wes Anderson movies. But if he did a slasher like The Purge, so you should Google it. It's
Oh,
called The Coterie of the Midnight Intruders, I think it is. But yeah, it's really really funny,
that sounds hilarious.
and way funnier than anything Wes Anderson's ever produced, in my opinion. Sean has started watching Asteroid City as we speak.
Right.
Paul Thomas Anderson is totally different
Yes, Boogie
director, of
Nights.
course, and I am just old and senile. I get shit wrong.
You had used the word fearless to describe Margot's performance, and I think that applies to Ryan Gosling as well. I thought he was fantastic as Ken.
Give it back.
He wasn't afraid to be vulnerable and make fun of himself or make fun of the situation he was in while doing a very skillful job at portraying how vulnerable and in different times how stupid he can be as Ken. And I thought a lot of people are thinking he's going to get an Oscar nomination.
No, he's brilliant. He is
Yeah.
brilliant. You are not wrong. I'm sorry, I had to walk away.
Yeah.
Somebody was
Hi,
scratching
Spike.
at the door. Spike is decided he wants to come and hang out, so he is going to hang out. Just go to relax, buddy. Go to sleep. Yeah, I mean, I do find it ironic that a female-led movie, female-directed movie, female co-written movie about a female toy has the meatiest part given to a guy, and it just goes to show how talented Ryan Gosling is.
Yeah.
And again, he's just a great actor, and he seems like a very nice person, as does Margot Robbie. But yeah, he does steal the show at points as Ken. And it's such a case of role reversal.
Yeah, for sure.
That it's a really interesting twist. And I think that's where perhaps a lot of people are complaining, where, oh, you've written this meaty part, you've written this big part for Ken, and he gets all the interesting lines and the character development and so on and so forth, and that he needs to be a Ken who is free of Barbie.
Right.
But I mean, it for me, the twist is excellent in that it turns around and says, well, this is every female character that's been written in a rom-com in the last 70 years. It's, she needs the man to justify herself. She needs the man to validate her. And then she has the realization, I don't need a man to validate me. So it's this beautiful role reversal, in my opinion. Gosling
killed
it.
Yeah.
And as somebody who is 10 years younger than me and having that body, I just, yeah, God.
Is he that old? I didn't realize he was
41 or 42. Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Now I feel terrible about myself.
Well, Caleb nails it. Ryan Gosling. I mean, so many people could have nailed this, phoned this in rather. And Caleb makes the point that if Gosling had filmed this in, it would have made the film fall flat. But he committed to it, and
very much, yeah.
So many dimensions, and he played the comedy. He played it so straight.
Yes, I loved his obsession with horses. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, the horses. There's obviously the scene in the hospital where he's talking to the doctor. I mean, and it's just boom, bitty, boom, bitty, boom. The dialogue is so tight, and he delivers in just this clueless, entitled way that you've seen. You just see exactly what happens, where he's moved from a world where it's women who are controlling it then in the Barbies to, oh, so this is what we can do, but when we do it, it's fucked up. So it's another great little subversive message. So yeah, he was fantastic. I do think that it would be really funny, and not in a good way, if he got an Oscar nomination for this one. But who knows? The movie could actually get an Oscar nomination. I think it's that enjoyable.
I hope so. I hope Greta, Margot, I hope a bunch of them get nominations. Caleb brought up another point that I feel exactly the same about. That he said for him, the movie got good when Amy Schumer was dropped from it and Greta Gerwig was attached. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Amy Schumer, or when I found out that she stole jokes. So that totally killed it for
Oh, you
me.
show me one comedian who hasn't stolen a joke in their day, mate. Everybody does it. And look, I actually like Amy Schumer, and I'm glad she dropped out, because the way it would have gone a decade ago when she was attached to do it post
Mhm.
Trainwreck, where when she was like super hot, as in,
Right.
everybody wanted to work with her. She had the buzz. I wasn't trying to talk about physical appearance, but I think that movie would have been more of the stereotypical fish out of water comedy that we were
Right.
expecting.
I
And she
also,
was smart to walk away. She's the one who walked away, and
right.
she said it's not what Barbie should be. This is and she has come out and said nothing but nice things about this version. I don't think
So
she was the right fit for it. So
I agree. I do disagree that, I mean, there's an extent to people steal jokes, but when you've done it as overtly as she did, it damaged her career. It killed Carlos Mencia's career. So I wouldn't be as dismissive as saying everyone does it. Some people do it, and if they do it to that extent, it ruins them if they get caught
well, I got to
and they're
say,
called out.
I wasn't aware of this accusation.
It's not
Or
an accusation. You
I
can,
know. I mean,
like,
I'm not. I'm gonna have to go and Google it, because I
okay,
haven't I didn't know about it. So you basically threw this out there as an accusation. I mean, it may be it's probably proven, but I didn't know anything about it. So
okay.
you have to bear with me, and I have to get up to speed. Um, yeah, and I've never watched Carlos Mencia, so I don't really. All I know is that he was in that South Park episode where
I
they
did not see
talked about
that
him
one.
stealing the kids' joke there, but I didn't know he'd been
They
accused
did
of
that.
stealing a
Oh my
joke.
god, that sounds
Yeah,
amazing. I'm
it's
gonna
the
check that
funniest
out.
joke ever made, and Carlos Mencia steals it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But I just thought that was parody, because again, I'm not as familiar with Carlos Mencia
Oh,
as you are. So
he was called out on stage at the Comedy Store for stealing jokes by another one of your favorite people, Joe Rogan. But he steals a lot of jokes, and he denied stealing one from a comedian named Ari Shafir. He's like, I don't know Ari Shafir. Then Ari got up on stage. He's like, I opened for you. I did this joke before you did. It's on TV. Here's me doing it before you. And yeah, he absolutely. I mean, it changed
that's
a lot with the internet that people
yeah.
can prove that their jokes were
No,
stolen.
I am all, look, I'm all for that. I mean, I know how hard it is to write a joke. I mean, we had this discussion
Yes.
about, going up on stage and doing jokes, and it's so hard to write a joke. And that's why I wasn't trying to dismiss you.
Oh
I
no, no,
know
no.
how many times I've seen one comedian do a joke and then somebody else do another version. And thank God we do have YouTube and social media and everything, so the shit can be caught. I mean, James Corden was accused of stealing a joke towards the end of his Late Show run last year.
Uh,
And I mean, the big question is, it was supposed to be from Ricky Gervais. So,
um,
Ricky Gervais came out and said, well, how do you know James stole it? I mean, when it could, do you know how much he actually writes of the jokes when he's doing a lot of the other writing on the show? The
right.
monologue jokes in particular are written by
They have a
writers.
whole team. Yeah.
They have a
So
whole team. And now, and again, a lot of comedians have writing partners, and the writing partners are not the people who get up on stage. And I'm not saying that it's not them every time. I'm just saying that there are layers to this onion.
yes.
So, but I would have to go and, I think, yeah, I could see. I think the only other sort of like actress I could see doing it is the actress from the Hunger Games.
Oh yeah. Silver Linings Playbook.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry. Welcome to Old Man. I know a lady who is in that movie.
Jennifer something.
Yeah. Look, she's
Didn't
in.
you go to her last movie?
I just went to her last movie. Yes. And I'm so sorry. Jennifer Lawrence. Thank you, Carlos. And apologies to Jennifer Lawrence if she's watching this. I've watched almost every movie she's done, and I just having these old man moments. I really need to get up on my brain juice, because I need Dr. Tinklebaum's brain juice to remember things a lot more. Um, but I think Jennifer Lawrence could have really done an excellent job because, again, she's got this delivery about her and she can play it, straight to a certain degree. But yeah, Margot Robbie nailed it. The
Absolutely.
entire cast nailed it. They were all awesome.
So I have a question for you and for everyone watching, either live or if you're watching the replay. But and this ties into a lot of people being confused about what the Barbie movie is. Um, I saw this tweet, this analogy, and I could not disagree with it more. Someone named Trayvon said Barbie is white women's Black Panther. And to me, that just seems beyond stupid because I don't know, it insults women, it insults black people, it insults both movies. They're very different things. For me, Barbie is a satire. It's a commentary on how this dolls has had a damaging effect on society. I don't see how that ties into Black Panther. Am I missing something here?
No, no. I mean, basically, it's a dumb as fuck tweet, and anybody who's retweeted that is a fucking moron too. To be honest with you, because um, to marginalize the impact Black Panther had. Again,
Yeah,
I'm not talking as a black man. I've not walked a mile in those shoes, but I have spoken to people, and the reaction to seeing this character leading a Marvel movie in one of the best Marvel movies, period,
for
with
sure.
one of the greatest actors of the last 20 years who has been taken away from us way too
Right,
soon. Um, was a very powerful thing, especially for children.
right.
And much like with Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, and we're seeing this representation. The 13th Doctor being a woman. This is important. And to trivialize it down to, and maybe we're overthinking it. Maybe we're just thinking, oh, this Trayvon guy decided to have a cheap laugh and ha ha, and we move on. But that's just the way it is. These things get retweeted and retweeted, and then it's we end up talking about it. What I'd rather do is say fuck Trayvon and his stupid observations, and let's just carry on talking about talking about the interesting shit about this movie because people should go see it because they'll be really really entertained, and who knows, they might fucking learn something.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right that it was probably meant as an innocent joke at first, but then some people, and that's kind of the problem with some things on Twitter and social media,
Oh,
is
it's
that
it's the
some people
problem with
take it
social
seriously.
media. Everything about social media. We have become so dumb as a species since on social media. Social media's peaked. Usefulness peaked around 2015. Since then, it's been
Hmm.
fucking downhill across the board.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to something else. Let's not give this one any more oxygen.
Yeah. And I kind of feel bad even bringing up the next point, but I think it's something that should be addressed. I mean, Barbie is now part of America's culture wars. People are bringing
No,
it
it
up.
isn't. No, it isn't.
I
I
mean,
appreciate the way you're coming from and the positioning of it, but no, it's not. There is no culture war with regards to this. It's basically being weaponized by a bunch of impotent, tiny dicked, white right wing fuck knuckles who want to bilk their gullible as fuck audience into giving them more money. There is no culture war with regards to this because if you don't have a fucking culture to come from, there is no fucking war. The culture war is so fucking non-existent. It's one-sided. We're the side with the culture, and I say we as in the center left, the progressives, if you will. We're the ones with the fucking culture. Anybody on the right side of the divide, especially at this level, has no culture to speak of. Their culture to them is fucking getting pissed off about Bud Light and going to drink Modelo, a Mexican beer, while screaming about Latinos or people crossing the borders. It's while wearing their fucking Confederate shorts with their ass cracks shitting all over their fucking flags and everything, and wanting their Merca and their freedoms. And it's not their Merca. Their Merca happened for a while, and now it's dying out. And the more we can kill it off, the better. The problem is we end up giving these people oxygen again, much like that stupid tweet before it. And this is not a slam on you. You brought it up. It's very interesting. And this has been all over the news this week with Ben Twatface Shapiro,
Right.
Matt fucking imbecile Getz,
Ted
and
Cruz.
Ted fucking no dick Cruz. All these fucking assholes. And even just it's the usual suspects. It is the Tinky Wink Brigade, and all they want to do is get people wound up. There is a line in the excellently written speech that Michael Douglas gives as the president in The American President.
Yes,
and I'm paraphrasing.
Love that movie,
but it comes at the very end, and he says, people like this are not interested in telling you the truth. All they are interested in is making you scared.
Right.
Because when you're scared, you are gullible. And when you are scared, you're not calling attention and making them responsible for doing their fucking jobs. And I am paraphrasing. You have to watch the whole thing. It's an Aaron Sorkin speech.
Yes.
Obviously. So it's going to be baller. But I would definitely look it up if you haven't seen it. But this is the problem. Every time there's, Bud White. Bud Light has used a trans person as its spokesperson. It just sent them a can to celebrate Pride Month. Yeah. Target selling some Pride Month merchandise. There's a book where it says Kevin has two daddies, and we've got this fucking war here in Glendale with this bunch of right-wing fuckknuckles trying to shut everything down.
Really? In Glendale that happened?
In Glendale, yeah. And it's just these people, we've given them this oxygen ever since Trump started to run his candidacy. And they've just, like a good forest fire, that's how they've expanded and exploded. We shut them down, shut them off. There is no culture war. They have no culture to speak of. Their culture, anything that they denote as culture, involves oppression. It involves prejudice. It involves gouging people of their money. And the sooner they fuck themselves into extinction, because they're all inbred in the first fucking place, the better. The real irony is these are the people who don't want to see immigration. They don't want to see this, that, and the other. And honestly, they should all fuck off back to where they come from, because where they come from is Italy. They come from Germany. They come from England. They come from Armenia. They come from so many other countries. And they should all fuck off back to those countries if they feel that this country is not the country that it should be, because this country is supposed to be about people being who they want to be, not hurting other people, just being good shits. That's what the great thing about America is.
Sure, but
it's a great concept.
I mean, for me, I think the problem is that we have actual real problems like the environment, homeless people, there's inflation, there's so many things that are wrong that affects how people actually live. And then these people bring up who's on the Bud Light can or how this movie is affecting my masculinity.
Dude, it's all about bilking people out of money. It's all about clout. It's Kid Rock, the talentless, hep-ridden fucking crab monster. Oh, look at me. I got myself an AR-15 and I'm going to go shoot some Bud Light.
That he bought. What's the point if he bought it already? I'm like,
instead I'm going to have some of that there Modelo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, fuck off, dude. You are not a spokesperson for a generation. Ted fucking Nugent. He's another one.
He's
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. I mean, there is this slew of pond scum that just exists to appear on Fox News and its other derivative channels, just to open their mouths and say, because they know they're going to get the people wound up, and the people who don't like what they're saying are going to be rah, 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 rah. And the people who do like what they're saying are going, here, have my money. Praise Jeebus. Because at the end of the day, we shut them up and shut them off. Like anything else without oxygen, they wither and die.
But they're not yet.
Well, hopefully at some point.
I hope so.
At
We'll
some
see.
point,
Because I would like to
come
focus on real problems. Like we are literally poisoning our air and water
we're
for
baking
like
right now. Yeah,
yeah,
we're baking right now. You're baking.
yeah.
There's a new report has been released to say that the Gulf Stream could potentially collapse in the next 5 years, which would be
What does that
catastrophic.
even mean? Like,
So if
like
the Gulf Stream
yeah,
collapses,
we're
we're talking
screwed.
about the
Yeah.
East Coast. I mean, the movie The Day After Tomorrow. I mean, we're talking about seawater rising and drowning half of the East Coast. We are talking about, flash freezing in Europe. We're talking about droughts in south of the equator and food poverty of a greater nature than ever before
Yep.
happening. Um,
But let's
and
talk
it's
about
just,
this. Let's like say how this movie's
yeah,
killing people. Like, I
yeah,
think this
but
movie is a positive thing. I don't want to see what
yeah,
the problem is.
there's a great this is a conversation for another time. Let's get, because we have just devoted too much time for these assholes, and
Sure.
let's move on,
Let's go
because
to
we also have
Caleb.
another movie to talk about.
We do not, because we're going to run out of time. Caleb said, it's not a coincidence that America Ferrara, women of color, had to guide Margot Robbie, white woman, to see the patriarchy for what it is, which is what non-white women have been doing for decades. I think that point was being missed by a majority of the white female audience. I
am not going to turn around as a white man and tell about
I don't know, but
I'm sorry, we cannot. I think it could have been a very smart. I mean, let's face it, America Ferrera was writing, saying the lines that were written by a white woman and a white partner, a white man,
right.
male partner. So, she wasn't improvising here. And again, she delivered it so well. I don't want to take anything away from her. So the choice was made by Greta Gerwig on who got to say that and who was cast in that role. And I am not. I'm not going down the route of putting myself in the shoes of anybody in this one. Like I said, to go back to the top of the hour, fucking love the movie.
Yeah. So one more question for you, Marcus.
Yeah.
And it is about this gentleman here. Kingsley Ben Adir.
Daredevil.
I thought he was great as like sycophant Ken or kiss your ass Ken. I thought he was fantastic.
Thought he was milquetoast Ken.
But I just liked how he was innocently kissing Ryan Gosling Ken's ass and like looking up to him and kind of enabling him the whole time.
Well, he wanted to beach him off.
Yes. You guys beach each other off. But I thought he was so good in this role. And I think he's so bad in Secret Invasion that I'm like, is this the same actor? Like, what's going on?
I don't think he's bad in Secret Invasion. I think Secret Invasion is just a bucket of bad, period.
Ooh.
And he is also, he plays Bob Marley in the Bob Marley biopic next year. And the trailer for that looks great. He is a great young actor. I say young, anybody under the age of 40 is young to me. So yeah,
I don't material that he has.
I think it's very bad material. I actually saw some tweets today that I actually agreed with, where somebody said that Secret Invasion should have been an Avengers level movie series, and I agree on that one, because I would rather have seen that than Kang and the Multiverse of Masturbation, because the multiversal shit is just getting too much, and this time stream stuff is just not working. And to see Secret Invasion played out across 2 Avengers movies and maybe a couple of other movies would have been great. This is another epic fail from Marvel, but Kingsley Ben-Adir, excellent actor, and everybody seemed to be just having so much fun on this movie. And that is a great thing. Can we just have some fucking fun for once? I'm sick of not having fun. I'm sick of being in the house because it's so hot and I can't use the backyard because we've got construction going on. And I just want to have some fun and be entertained and not be an adult for 2 to 5 hours at a movie theater. And Barbenheimer did that for me. I am looking forward to Oppenheimer 2, Oppenharder. I am looking to Looking forward to hopefully that they don't have to do a sequel to Barbie. To be honest with you, they could do one and done, and I'd be like so cool with that because not everything needs to be a franchise. It could be a shining cinematic moment. And it sucks that we're not going to talk about Oppenheimer because we did talk for so long about Barbie, but we should talk about Oppenheimer at some
Oh,
point
yeah,
soon.
we can we revisit that.
We
I'm
should, but
totally in.
go and see it. It is 3 fantastic hours with an amazing cast, and go see it in IMAX because it's fucking gorgeous.
I think it is technically one of the best movies I've ever seen. I did read the book a long time ago, and I think they kind of softened some of his rough edges to make him a little more likable
I'm
in the
sure they
movie.
did. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I mean,
Um,
there's a lot of that, but um,
he was not a charming man from
no,
what I got in the book, but
yeah,
in the movie you can, I mean, partially because the actor is also just tremendously talented. That
yeah. Murphy is great, and I think
yeah,
we're looking. This is the Oscar movie to beat, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that Murphy will get a nomination. I think Robert Downey Jr. will.
yeah, he was
Yeah, I
amazing.
think he's probably a lock on for Best Supporting Actor. As
I
much
do
as we
think
love Ken.
the women were a little bit underutilized. They were good in what they had, but I mean, they're both of them. Emily Blunt and Florence Pugh are tremendously
Absolutely superb.
gifted. Yeah,
But yeah, I think, I mean, at the end of the day, this is, I mean, and it's quite interesting that we had, movies about one character back to back, and
yeah.
one really wrote up the opposite sex part in Ken, and the other one didn't really expand on the characters, the female characters in Oppenheimer. Um, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent. Well, we had a very positive movie weekend. How about
Yeah,
next week we do something a little negative and talk about this secret invasion thing, which is wrapping up tonight.
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna go watch that. We can talk about Invincible season 2.
oh,
I will have been to have gone to see the Haunted Mansion. We've got our tickets for that,
that's
which
this
actually
week.
looks it looks way better than the Eddie Murphy version. Great
Huh.
cast. So, and this is the thing: the wife and I reopened our AMC Stubs accounts, which is
Ah,
basically
nice.
$30 a month, 3 tickets a week each, and yeah, it's paid for itself already with regards to what we saw last week. And so we have tickets for the Meg 2, The Trench. I'll be going to see Blue Beetle. I'm going to see an awful lot more movies, which is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about next week. We're going to have to be really power through some shit. But yeah, let's go and look at the Secret Invasion and see if I cry anymore.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, a thumbs up. If you like what we do and like to support us, please subscribe to our channels there. There's our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube, and
And
leave
yes,
comments.
Turtles.
Yes, thank you for everyone that left comments, and for people that are watching the replay, leave some more.
And love my dog. Give my dog some love. Look at him. He's sleeping. He's
Oh,
so happy.
sleeping Spike.
You're a good boy, buddy. And yes, Turtles is coming. And my wife saw the trailer and said, I'm so down to watch that because of the cast. So she's going
Oh,
to go see the Turtles movie with me.
are you going to see that Will Ferrell talking dog movie? I forgot what it was called. You said you'd
No.
like the trailer.
Yeah. And no, I'll
Okay,
watch that when it comes on Netflix in
fair
6
enough.
weeks.
And why don't you say goodbye to the lovely people out there, Marcus?
Goodbye to the lovely people.
We will see you next time on the beer pad. Cheers.
Bye.